if you were to start today, let's say you were like super young.
I am super young.
And you were, yeah, okay. Let's say you're like really, really young, like 18, and you're starting over again. Maybe you don't live in the best school district in the country or something like that. What would you do if you were starting today? Do you have any idea? Do you ever think about that?
Yeah, I think about that all the time. If I was 18, I never think about that. I'll tell you what comes to mind. I think about two people and their paths. So his name is Harry Dry. Mm-hmm. And so Harry is a kid in like bumfuck London. He's like, or in England, not London. He's in the UK. I don't even know what city, small ass city. And he just started blogging. Mm-hmm. And he has a site called marketingexamples.com. I think he's about 19 or 20. And he just started blogging a lot. And he started tweeting a lot, and he kept working on his craft. And now I think he makes somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a month just from that blogging. I think he has ads, and he does consulting, and he might have a course or something like that. But I like the approach of him where he was just putting out content and working on marketing, that's been something I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. So I think one approach is like, go put out content. Like the craziest thing now is that anyone could be a YouTube creator on any topic. Lighting, film, these are the more obvious ones, headphones, coffee, mugs, whatever it is. You can make a full-time career. Saw a guy today makes a full-time career picking locks. That's crazy. So I think the idea of content creation, and you just have to be consistent. I call it the law of 100, which is you just have to put out 100 videos, or you have to do 100 photos, or you have to do 100 emails. You just stick with that. That's something I would definitely do. That's one path. I think the content creation path is one of the next major careers of people. The other path that I regret, I'd say I regret this, is that just go find someone that you like the path, or you think you like the path they took, and just do whatever it takes to work for them. And so I've seen another guy named Joe Gannon. He's also in the UK too, which is kind of wild. He went and worked for Ali Abdaal, who's a content creator. And it doesn't have to be for content creation. It can be for anything. If you're like, hey, I want to be a filmmaker, or I want to be an entrepreneur, or I want to be like a restaurateur, go stage, which work for free at a restaurant, or do whatever it takes to just be around the person who did the path you think you want to copy. And I think both of those are probably, like the second one, I wish I would have had someone where I'm like, man, I love like how you, like there's a guy, Doug Hirsch, who founded GoodRx. Like just been closer to work with him. And I think that those are probably the two things I would have done. That's how I would approach it at 18.
Does everyone just become a YouTuber eventually? Because like anytime I see like, what should you do? It's always revolving around like putting out content. That could be just our little world. Yeah, it's just the world that we're in. But it seems to be a little bit more true. So like, even if you want to be a doctor, I know, I guess Ali Abdaal, he is a doctor. He's a doctor, yeah. And he puts out content about being a doctor. And I remember seeing a video that you did or he did or something like that, where he's like, he makes far more money from like putting out videos about being a doctor than actually being a doctor in the UK.
But I think the point that's really interesting is my brother's a doctor, and I've told him he does mountain biking, and he's actually he's a really interesting person. And I've been like, yo, you should put it out on YouTube. He's like, I do not want to do that. That's just not something I'm interested in. And I thought it was powerful for him and just for anyone to be like, what path? Try different paths so you know which paths you don't like and do like, but also, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Like when I started AppSumo over almost 11 years ago, I wanted to make $3,000 a month and just kind of be able to live whatever I want to live. And that was my goal. And so I think some people like my brother figured out, which is everyone says you have to go here. And he's like, well, how much do I need to live? And what do I need to do to get that? And so for him, he works a few hours a day doing like insurance claims. And he likes it. He's like, actually, it's pretty stimulating. And then it gives me the rest of the day to mountain bike or do whatever else I want to do. Like he's doing stocks now and some stuff like that. I call it gambling, but he's doing stock investing.
Yeah, it's like a fancy name for it. Huh, that's really interesting. I like the law of 100, just doing it 100 times. I think that will instantly tell you if you like something or not.
Yeah, because I've had so many times where I've given up too soon. Right? Like I did my podcast, I did like 40
Or maybe
episodes.
You should give up though. Maybe you just don't like it.
It's hard to know when you're supposed to give up or not, right? Like that's kind of I think it's also, if you're giving up, did you like doing it, and you're giving up for a different reason. So I gave up on the podcast because I didn't hit a goal. But I actually really enjoyed meeting people. I enjoyed that I got to like connect and learn things. Like I felt like I got like little superpowers. Like I'd interview someone and I'd like, oh, like Highlander, the show where you get a different power. But I think the goal like discouraged me from that. And the same thing with YouTube. I've had a lot this year where I've done probably around 55 episodes. And there's definitely times where it feels like a job. And it's like, okay, well, what is it about this that feels like work, and which ones don't? And how do I just kind of shift it? And I think having the law of 100 is kind of, it alleviates that you know what it's going to take. And it's going to take at least 100 of them to get to a point where you can make a decision to quit or not. And as well with the law of 100, it's not just doing 100 somethings. It's doing it, and each time making it a little bit better. So like, all right, this thumbnail is going to be a little bit better. And then each week you just kind of keep improving it. And at 100, I feel like it's a reasonable time to quit or continue.